Fabulous. Okay, so hello, welcome everyone. So thank you for taking some time out in your busy days on a very warm July Thursday to meet today. So today's really about just introducing Guida or reintroducing Guida if you're currently familiar with it already. So I'll just be taking you through a nice demo, essentially to help you get the most out of the platform. I will highlight a couple of our new updates that we've got that's super exciting. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about skill proficiency and also mentor certificates. They're our big new releases that I will take you through today. So yeah, if anyone has any questions at any point about the demo, just put your hand up and I can take questions as we go. So if I just share my screen, you can jump right into it.
Excellent. We've got that, Natasha. Thank you.
Fabulous. Okay, so the first point of Guida, I guess I'll just give anyone that hasn't used it before a little bit of an overview of what we are. So we are a mentoring platform for women in technology. And basically we're inviting you to sign up both as a mentor, as a mentee to the program, and to basically have mentoring relationships on the platform. The features I'll show you, I'll run through the registration process. I'll talk a little bit about how we match you together, and then I'll show you what a relationship will look like, how you can interact, and then have a look at a couple of the gamification bits and the certificates. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So when you first log on to the Guida platform, the Read app, you just need to create an initial profile just to get you started. So I filled out a couple of these fields for myself, and then you just want to hit continue. So do make sure that you enter your current level within your organization, as that will of course help with the matching and give you the best matches, and hit continue. So in the program, you have the option to, of course, be a mentor, a mentee, or if you're up for it, you can also be both as well, which is quite a popular option now. But for the sake of this, we'll hit both, and I will just click continue.
Yeah, I'll interrupt you then, Tasha, if you don't mind, because I think some people, when they join this platform and other mentoring programs, have this assumption that, oh, I'm at the start of my career, I must be a mentee, or I'm in a leadership role, I must be a mentor. And across the 1,600 relationships that we've had through Guida and before we started using the platform, we've had CIOs be the mentee, we've had people in their first, second year of tech be the mentor, because actually, in those instances, the more junior person has the more directly relevant experience to help the person that's looking for a mentor than them going for the most senior person that exists. So do genuinely, no matter what you're coming to this call thinking that you might be, have a think about, could I be the other role as well? Like, could I be a mentor to somebody, or could I actually use this tool myself to find a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is, thank you for bringing that up, Kevin. I think one of the biggest, I guess, myths that we like to put aside and break through is that I need to be senior, a mentor needs to look and have a certain level of experience, which is not true. We do really strongly believe that everyone's got something to offer in terms of skills. So yeah, I really do consider yourself to be a mentor. So I'm just going to quickly make a mentor profile. So initially you want to put a little bit about yourself, so quite holistic, your hobbies, what brought you to become a mentor, and this is just so that people can get a sense of who you are. And then we're going to go on to the skills and goals section. So at Guida, we're of course going to be matching on skill and goals. So as a mentor, you want to just take some time to reflect on the 2 to 3 areas that you believe you could offer your skills in potential mentees. And next, we're going to go on to the skills section. So the second part of the matching is, of course, on your skills. And you've got these categories here. And you've got the subcategories down below. And what you'll see, and so this is your soft skills to start with, and what you'll see on the right-hand side is your skills proficiency, which is one of our new features I'm really happy to share with you today. So at Guider, we have been really trying to think about how we can get you to be able to showcase your development more on the platform. So we've set these proficiency levels where you can report where you are currently, which will lead nicely onto the next feature I'll show you after. So we've got intermediate, proficient, advanced, and expert if you are a mentor. As standard, as mentor, it goes to advanced, but like we said, there is no right or wrong for this. So you really can be any level. And I'm just going to hit continue. And then you basically follow the same process for your hard or technical skills.
Yeah, so Natasha, on this thing, when we designed the mentoring program here initially, we recognised actually that people probably aren't going to be looking for technical skill development as such. It is more those softer skills which are going to add real value to their career. But people might have a preference for working with somebody in a particular domain. So the way that I see it is more so the softer skills are probably your development areas, and then the technical skills are kind of you saying, and I'd like a mentor that works in data or cyber or software, so you kind of get somebody that understands the context a bit more. Question from me on this: is there any guidance on how many skills a profile should have? What do you find works best?
Sure. So typically we say between 5 and 8 skills. Of course, you can have more, and that will, of course, open you up to more potential matches. However, we do sort of say 5 to 8, so that's that kind of happy medium where you're not getting overwhelmed, because of course anything you select here will be displayed as feedback in your match list, and you want to be able to obviously filter without any kind of overwhelm as to what you've matched on. So I would say between 5 and 8 works really nice. So it could be 5 to 8 soft skills, and then if relevant, naturally the technical hard skills average is around 2. Even sometimes 1, as we do appreciate it's mainly soft skills. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Does that answer your question?
Sorry, I muted myself. That answers my question, and I think it answers Suda's question as well, who posted in the chat. So thank you.
Brilliant. So as a mentor now, my profile is now live, and you'll be emailed when a suitable mentee has matched with you. So now I'm going to go on to mentee registration.
So just to interrupt you, Natasha, on that point. So I think a key thing here is understanding the mechanics of how the platform, but also the program works. So the power is in the hands of the mentee to make the selection. So what that means as a mentor is, frustratingly, sometimes it can be a waiting game. Currently, we have 240 available mentors. So when a mentee looks at that list, there's lots of choices. So it's in no way a slight if they don't pick you, because there's lots of people for them to pick. So what we would say is make your skills, that 5 to 8 is to make sure it's quite targeted. If you've got 20 skills on there, somebody's less likely to pick you because they're going to say, well, they're a generalist, they're not really experts in the 5 to 8 things I need help with. So that's one point. The second point as well, I guess, in terms of increasing your likelihood of being matched, is being visible. So a lot of the stuff we do across the network in terms of networking and these kind of sessions, and the stuff we ask you to share on LinkedIn, there is a reason behind that. It's all to enhance your mentoring brand and to make sure that people recognize you and feel more approachable, selecting you as a mentor on the platform. And then the third thing you can do is help us grow the number of mentees we've got. So, whilst you are joining this network to support people, if you recognize there's other groups of people in your network, in your organization that could benefit from mentoring, make sure they know about this as well. Because ultimately, the only way we're going to help those 240 mentors get mentees is by putting more people in that funnel. So yeah, sorry for interrupting you, Natasha. Carry on.
Oh, that's great, thank you. So yeah, now I'm just going to go through the same process as a mentee and find myself a nice mentor. So again, 2 to 3 goals that you'd like to achieve, and hit continue, and then you'll do the same with the skills. So I will select 5 to 8 of those skills. And then as a mentee, I'm just going to report where I believe I currently sit in terms of my proficiency on those soft skills. We'll do the same technical and hit continue. So to match, it's really that simple and that easy to match. And then once you've done that process, you will then see a list of suitable matches for you. So here you'll see the percentage of what you've matched on, and these areas in green that you can see, these are the skills that we've matched on essentially, and the same for goals. You'll also be able to see a little bit of a bio about your mentor and any recommendations, which is a review of that mentor. For the real life ones here that are coming up.
And I think a key thing to point out there, Natasha, as well, is where it says LinkedIn in the corner, that's because they've connected their LinkedIn profile. So you're not limited to just that snapshot that they've provided to the platform. Go and check them out, go and research them, go and look at their LinkedIn profile, see their full history, see what they post about, see the kind of things that they say, and really like use all the evidence you can to make the right informed decision about who you can send the connection to.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think one of the best pieces of advice would say is really be curious about your matches. So the platform is there to really facilitate, but ultimately you are going to make the best decision for yourself the more curious you are. So yeah, really echo that. Thank you for that. So for the sake of this demo, I'm going to match with Natasha. And there we go. And that relationship can then get started. So the mentor, so the other Natasha, will then get a little notification to say that a mentee is matched with them, and we can start that relationship. So did anyone have any questions or anything? Shall I continue? Things come up.
So I don't know what you're going to tell us next, Natasha. So so you might answer this anyway, but my question is, when I send Natasha a request and Natasha gets a notification, like what information is in that notification, where it says things like schedule a session here, is that who picks that date? Is it me picking that date? Is Natasha picking the date? What happens there?
Yeah, so it's all mentee driven. So the mentee is responsible for scheduling the sessions. What we do advise is mentors from the icon at the top, they can manage their availability. So they can kind of put the hours that they will be available to mentor their mentees. And then as a mentee, I'll only be able to schedule a session during those times. And in terms of the email, it will just see like, congratulations, you've got a match, and they can click. And then they'll be taken to this relationship page where they could view my profile, view what we've matched on as well, but they just won't be able to schedule the session. But they will see everything else. So,
and I think a key point to make there was that's the first time that anybody on the profile will see your mentee on platform will see your mentee profile. So don't be concerned about saying anything that's too confidential. Obviously within limits, have some restraint, but this isn't an open forum, so I can't see. None of the other mentors or mentees can see your mentee profile unless you actually approach them for support. So that's the first time anybody will see this. So if you've got colleagues or people on the platform, that isn't going to be shared. That's completely confidential.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, all the information that obviously you chat about as well is kept purely within that relationship as well, which is important to know, as well as of course the note-taking features and anything like that. So once you're in that relationship, you'll be able to access it via the relationship tab, but you naturally will be taken there once you have a match. What's quite nice is that you can start to chat with your mentor, so you can start to really build that rapport, maybe send a little introduction, you're excited to meet them. And then you can kind of start that dialogue and book your first session. What you will see here is on the right hand side, you'll be able to see your relationship goals. So these are the goals that my mentor has said that she can help me with, and I can manage my goals. I can view my goals and even update them with an objective, an end date if I want to be super granular with it, and set a deadline. And also I can measure my progress and report as to where I am within that goal as well. And of course, as that relationship blossoms, new goals might potentially crop up as well. So you can set new goals there as well. In order to schedule a session, you just simply go to schedule session. You'll be able to put a date and a time, select your video choice. If it is in person, we do recommend just popping that in here, whether it's a coffee shop or something, just so that then we can see obviously that you've had that session and you can keep a note of it and receive a reminder as well.
What are the options in terms of video there, Natasha?
So at the moment you've got guide video, or I believe it would be, because obviously this is external facing, or it would be I believe it would just be guide video, as we're not integrated with like lots of individual platforms, if that makes sense, with this particular program. Obviously, if you do use Teams, you can access Guider now via Teams as well on an individual basis, if that is something that you, let's say, you use a laptop that has it, you can. Otherwise, yeah, Guider video.
If I wanted to use my own Zoom license, for example, is that possible to kind of schedule a session and then send the mentee or the mentor, an external link?
Yeah, you can do an external link. You would just have to then log it on Guider. So Guider wouldn't be able to be attached to your personal Zoom account. But yeah, you can definitely obviously create a link, and then you just have to do it off platform and then record it as a session, if that makes sense. So you have to log a session.
Yeah, so you could share the link in the chat, or
and share it in the chat. Yeah, it just wouldn't appear here as a link. You can do, and then if you do have anything off platform, you can just log when it was and click log the session. Oh, we have one hand up.
Shikemi, over to you, mate.
Yeah. Thank you, Natasha. So I have a question around the logging of past sessions, right? Yeah. I use the former Guider platform, the one that is not as fancy as this one. And one of the things that I noticed was that when I want to log a past session, I can put the date, I can put the start time, and I can also estimate how long we spent on the call. Because I have always used an external link from day one. So the first platform didn't even have this feature. So I've always had my own external calendar that we used to have some of those conversations. But I noticed in the new one, when I want to log a session, I only have the option of logging whether it's today, this week, this month, last month, and that's it. No other information. Just feels very abrupt, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find out, is there a rationale behind this change in mentor-mentee experience for this particular feature? That's my question.
Sure. So with the logger session, it is obviously pretty quite abrupt. It's not giving you a lot of detail. We just wanted to do it to, I guess, remove the friction and kind of remove the time it took to log a session, so that it's super quick for you to do so. But what we would recommend is you do have the notes here. So if you wanted to, you can obviously date and timestamp your notes and save your notes. That's also another way of being able to, I guess, essentially log your sessions. To pop when, and then you can pop the specific date in here, and then you'll be able to see all your notes as well. So that's what I'd recommend as well, to add more detail.
Okay, I'm just seeing the notes. I don't think I've taken note of it before. Yeah, okay. But perhaps, I don't know if we're giving feedback to the team via this call, Kevin. Maybe what they could do is on the log a session, they can make the really summarized part of it mandatory. So today, but then there's an option for people that like to have more details, and then they can collapse that and put as much details to their heart's content. So that way we take care of two categories of mentors, the summary one and the detailed one, but the detailed one won't be enforced. It will be optional, something like that.
Yeah, that's really great feedback. Thank you. I'll definitely take that away, because I do think that would be really great to have. So I will 100% take that away to the team. Thank you very much. It's always good to get valuable feedback.
Suna had a question in there, Natasha, about data privacy. So
Sure.
any information that's added into the notes, who can see that, where is it saved, etc.
Of course. So that's a really important question. So as standard, it would only be yourself that could see it. But if you chose to click collaborate, that just simply means that the mentor and the mentee can see the notes. So essentially your mentor could see them as well, but only if you hit collaborate. If you don't hit collaborate, it would just literally stay within yourself. And that the note-taking feature isn't reported or anything like that. It's just simply for you and for your own, I guess, your own personal experience on the platform. So it isn't something that we can measure, or we don't have any visibility. Yeah, so it's completely confidential.
Yeah, I think I should know the answer to this question better, but I think as an admin, I can see like goal tracking and progress against goals, but I can't see any of the detail in terms of the notes.
Yeah, that's 100% it. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, fantastic. So one thing that I'll show you as well, so you've got that relationship, you've got your goals, things that you're going to work on, and we now want to help support your development and progress within those relationships and towards those certain goals. So we do have a new feature called My Progress, which essentially helps you to log and track your development towards these certain goals. So first of all, you'll have your goals section. So any goals that you have created and that you're working towards with your mentor, you will see your mentor's icon here. So it will say, let's say, goal with Sarah or Natasha, the dates, and you'll be able to log your progress towards that goal. Now, this is something that Kevin will be able to get reporting data on. So this is something that is reported. And if you want to add new goals, you can add them there as well. So alongside the relationship page that I showed you where you can track your progress, we'd really recommend navigating towards this area where you can see all your goals nicely displayed in your progress. Similar with the skills as well. So you'll be able to see all the skills that you're currently working towards as a mentee. You'll see your current level. So when I registered, I said I was a novice at resilience. And as I develop and blossom throughout that relationship, I can increase that score and then note that down as my progress. And this is something that Kevin will also be able to see. So how you're developing through the program as well. So it's quite a nice feature for you to just see and get a visual of how you're developing both professionally and personally in the program. And lastly, we do also have a new certificate feature, which is aimed at mentors. As we know, as mentors, you give a lot of your time to mentoring, and we're really appreciative. And we want you to be able to really celebrate what you're contributing to the program. So as a result of that, I've released certificates. I think some of you may have seen them. They're kind of popping off quite a bit on LinkedIn recently. So we do at the moment, we have 4 stages of certification. So you've got the first stage, which is 1 session, and then it goes to 5 sessions, 1 relationship, and so on and so forth, to finally result in the top 1% mentor, which is 30 sessions, 3 relationships, and 3 reviews as well. So they will pop up, and you'll be able to download them, upload them to LinkedIn, and save them here. So they will appear here as you collect them. But did anyone have any questions on that at all?
Again, this might be something you plan to cover, but one of the criteria there is a completed relationship. So how do we flag that our relationship has ended, and then leave feedback whether that was successful or unsuccessful, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So that takes me really nicely back to the relationship side. So if you want to conclude a relationship, typically relationships last around 8 months to 1 year on Guida. Average is around 8 to 9 months, but of course they can go on for much longer or much shorter depending on what you need. When you're happy and you feel like you've got everything out of that relationship, you just go to the top little 3 dots, and you can first of all leave a recommendation for my mentor. So I'll give them 4 stars, put a little bit about what you achieved, a bit about your experience, and then you can click submit. Now, what's really important to know is, as a mentor, I don't want these reviews to worry you. You can access your reviews before they go live, and then you can choose whether you want it on your profile or not. But yeah, so that's how you leave a review. And then to complete the relationship, hit the same icon and you'll say successfully completed, and that will archive the chat, and it will disable the session booking. So you'll still be able to view everything you've chatted about and what your goals were and your history, but you just can't then move forward within that relationship to set new goals and sessions. So that will just archive that, and you will hit complete, and that will archive the relationship. And you can view it if you wish from the archive section there. So lastly, we do have some learning resources for you to support you throughout different stages of mentoring. So we typically have 3 stages that we like to guide you through. The first stage is all about getting started, having that first session, even tips on creating a bio. You'll see all of those articles and resources here. And then when you go on to the growth phase, you'll find lots of different resources, sort of build on what you've learned so far and your skills within that relationship. And then finally, you'll have the reflection piece. So whether it's that right now you decide to be a mentee, perhaps at the end of that relationship, you might reflect and you might want to read the article on, am I ready to become a mentor? So that reflection piece. And then we also have downloadable content, checklists, and some videos as well. Now the team are working on updating this as well. So yeah, hopefully over the next couple of months, we should see some new resources that are coming your way in this learning. So that is just about everything to cover really on the Guider platform. So we're doing really well for time. So if anyone has any questions, anything else that they'd like me to cover, now will sort of be the time. But yeah, thank you everyone for your attention in the demo.
Yep. So I am going to, we've scheduled this to do 2 things, Tasha. So I am going to take people through a demo of our networking tool as well. Yeah. But I'd rather we wrapped up all the guided stuff first. So if anybody has any questions while we've still got Natasha, that'd be great. Feel free, like I say, to pop in the chat, or if you want to just come off mute and speak to us, you're more than welcome to. And we'll give you a few minutes to do that before we let Natasha leave. Can't see any sign that anyone's typing, Natasha, so I think you might have done a good job there, mate. The proof will be in the pudding. If we see 20 new mentoring requests going through, then we'll be happy. Oh, Natasha's got a question. Hey, Natasha.
Hi, thank you very much, Natasha. I'm having a problem registering, so I don't know if that means I've already registered or because I'm part of Read, so I don't know if is it going to use a separate account or I'd use my generic one to log in.
Yeah, I can answer that question as to whether or not you've already registered, and then I'll contact you directly to let you know which email address and things, so that not everyone on the call finds that out.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks very much again. Thank you. Cheers.
But yes, in general, if you've already got an account, you will need to request a password reset typically. And I think when we migrated from the old version of the platform that Shikemi spoke about, that created the need for everybody that hadn't used a new platform to reset their password. So you might have to do that, Natasha. But I will let you know after the call exactly where you stand on that one, mate. Cool. Are we all good then, guys? We are okay to let Natasha go for the afternoon? I think so. Thank you very much, mate.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you for your attention. Have a lovely afternoon and enjoy the weekend when it arrives. And yeah, I look forward to seeing your profiles on there. And yeah, good luck with your mentoring journey. Great.
See you, Natasha.
See you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So I'll try and keep this as brief as possible, but basically I wanted to make sure that while we had you on this call, we also spoke about Mighty Networks. It's the other tool we've got, which is going to unlock the second most vital stuff that we offer, which is kind of the networking and access to learning things from each other. I hadn't realized that I already wrote in the welcome section kind of all the instructions that I want to share with you today. So that's a good point of reference. So the first page you come to when you go into it should be the welcome section. It kind of outlines how we want you to use the platform. What I feel has happened since we launched this is it's very much become a space where I post things and I share things, which is only half of its intention, really. The other intention is that you guys post things and share things and communicate with each other through this platform. It allows you effectively to self-serve and create your own networking journey. So the main things I want to talk you through are what you can do with the platform and where you can do those things. So if we just scroll through the welcome section to start with, the first thing you'll see is there's a reference to the mentoring program. So here on the top of the screen, there is a page that will take you to all the resources you need for the mentoring platform. So a link to get into the mentoring platform, the mentoring agreement that we have created so that when you do start a mentoring relationship, you've got a way to document those commitments to each other, and also our user guide on how to be a successful mentor. So Natasha mentioned in Guider, there's a learning hub that has some useful tips around how to be a good mentor, how to be a good mentee. Second to that, we also produce a document so that if somebody is mentoring or being mentored and you've never been through that before, there's some kind of guidance there as to what to expect and what kind of questions you might get asked or ask your mentee. So again, useful place to go and look. Going back to my list, the main things that we share through this is details of all our webinars and networking sessions, and we do that in two spaces. So the first space where most of the content will live is this Women in Tech Community Hub here. So in this space, you'll see that we have a news feed. So exactly like LinkedIn, this is where all the updates will come, and you are invited to use this as you would use your own LinkedIn account in terms of sharing articles, creating posts, posting polls and questions. How you do that is really simple. So you see the top right here, there's a create button. If you click in there, you can select any of these things. So you have as much access as I do to create a quick post, which as it explains is a very short thing where you can embed a picture, you can add GIFs, you can put links and things in there. If you're more interested in long form sharing, you can create articles with titles. So you could create your own blog posts and things in there. If you want to ask somebody a question or create a poll, again, there's features in there to be able to use multiple choice things, pie charts, etc., etc. So all those features are available. And equally, you're allowed to go there and post your own events. So especially in the regional networks, which I'll talk about in a minute, we want you guys to be sharing opportunities for each other. So I will post all of Reed's events in here. But if you're attending anything locally or you're running anything within your own networks that you've got, share it. Like if you want external attendees, like feel free to share that stuff. When you do share that stuff, it will all appear in the events tab. So what you'll see here is a calendar of every session that we've got going on. You will have the option to RSVP to those events to say yes, no, or maybe. You don't need to say no, you just need to say yes or maybe. Your view on this will be slightly different to mine. So I see every session because I'm subscribed to every space in the network. What you will see is sessions that are taking place relevant to the spaces you're subscribed to. So when I say spaces, what I mean is these communities of practice. But going back to my original post, here we have a list of all the sub-communities that you can access as being part of this network. So we're very conscious that 3,500 members, all got different interests. We're going to have quite an overwhelming lot of information there. So what we've done is we've moved that information into spaces where it's catalogued effectively according to your areas of interest. So if you're joining this network because you want to learn more about AI and you want to access things like the webinar that Suda did for us yesterday, then you would click to join the AI practice. Once you join that practice, then you will get notifications about upcoming events, things that are posted in that space, networking opportunities in that space. And if you don't subscribe to that practice, you won't see those things. So you're not going to be bombarded with content about topics that you couldn't care less about. So our advice is to subscribe to any of those practices that you think are relevant. And then on top of that, we've also got location-based networks. So wherever you are in the UK or the world, you should be able to find a group that is dedicated to your location. So for example, if I go into the Yorkshire and Humberside UK network, you'll see that in that space we have a news feed, just like we do in the main space. We have somebody here that's posted a poll, posted a question to try and find out where members are based, etc. We've got an events tab which will show you our upcoming Women in Tech event in York. You'll see, and if you logged in last week, that we also promoted, it's not in this group, sorry, it's in the project one, so I'll show you that very quickly. So in the project space, you'll see that one of our other members shared their event. So House of PMO, I'm not involved in, but a lady that is part of that, Anna, she shared that event. So that's the way we want you to use this space. We want you to come and share your content. And then the only thing that we're asking you to do, which you can't do directly and you have to come to us for, is this point here around sharing resources. So over time, people say to me, this is a great book, this is a great podcast, here's some toolkits that I use in my day-to-day job, here's some recommended courses, here's a framework that I've been using that I want others to know about. In every one of those spaces, there is a resources hub. So for example, if we go into the product space, you'll see that there's a resources tab, and in the resources tab, there's a catalogue of useful resources. So there's some podcasts that are related for products specifically. There's this Miro board that a chap called Paul shared. So again, these resources only get into the platform if people let us know that they're available. You can't add things there yourself, so you have to send them to us or post them in the feed. And if you post useful things like that in the feed, I will then move them into resources library and catalog them basically. So hopefully that sheds some light on the features of the platform, but also re-emphasize that this is not a space for me to use. This is a space for you guys to use. We really want you to be proactive in collaborating through that space. You know, if you've got any headaches or problems, go into the relevant spaces and ask questions. The other people in the network will respond to that and help you out. If you've got anything useful to share, whether that's an opportunity to network or something to learn from each other, again, please share away. Any questions about any of that stuff?
Yes, I do have a question.
Thank you, Shikemi. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, I want to. So when we started using Mighty Networks, we were under the Propeller Low account. I just want to be sure that is no longer correct.
Correct.
I'm opening two of them. I realized that.
No. So you can delete Propeller. Yeah. That was very opportunistic from us because they already had a license and they let me borrow it.
Okay.
There was some great features in there because they had their own content, but basically, Helen, who runs that company, sold that company, and they got rid of their Mighty Networks. And we then, because we liked the features of it, we went and got our own license. So the only instance of it now is the Read Women in Tech community. You can forget the word Propeller ever existed.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Cool. The only thing I didn't mention in here is you'll also see in all the spaces that you go into, there's a members tab, and that allows you to directly connect with other people. So it will show you the top members. So these are the people that are most active in that space. If you've put your location into your profile, it will show you the people that are based near to you in that space, and it will show you the newest members. So if you're the kind of person that wants to welcome people into the network, then the guys you need to welcome. Anything you want to find is featured in the search bar. So, for example, if I wanted to find my lovely friend Shikemi, I can see her profile here. I can see some of the things that Shikemi's posted about simply by typing her name into the top bar. So again, any types of content or people that you're trying to find to connect with, really accessible via that top bar. The mobile app is great for notifications. It's great for scrolling through a feed of stuff that's happening. But if you want to actually add anything or post anything, I'd recommend using the desktop because it's a lot more functionality. And then while we're talking about notifications and things, if you go into personal settings here at the top, so by the click on your profile picture, you can choose notifications. So you can choose what spaces you get notifications from, what type of notifications you get in the app, so that you can basically customize whether you want to see comment, like every notification of every comment on your post, whether you want to see everything that gets posted, whether you just want to see events that get posted. If you joined every group but you don't actually want to see posts from certain groups, you can turn those groups off. So it really is completely customizable. My aim is to overshare and to put too much information in there. So I say, like, your job is to kind of police that and make sure that you filter out the stuff you don't want to hear. Because I'd hate for you to leave the network just because there's too much going on. But yeah, anyway, happy to answer any questions now. Anybody wants to reach out to me after the session, you're more than welcome to. And please do, like, anything that you think others would benefit from, get in there and share it. That's all I can ask. Anything else for anyone before we break? I'll take the silence as positive. So thank you very much, guys. The next session we have happening is a lady called Seema, who's done some public speaking stuff for us before, is doing a session on public speaking, your voice, your power, your impact, next Wednesday. So if you haven't already, I'd recommend that you click subscribe on that one. And if you can't make that session, everything we do is recorded. So in the recording section, all the webinars are catalogued there. You can see a full list of everything that we've ever done. So again, if you haven't explored that and you think some things to learn from, go there and check it out. And I'll leave you with that. So have a wonderful afternoon, and hopefully we'll see more of you guys.
Thank you. Take care. Bye, everyone.